Microsoft has two Surface devices to pick from between the Surface 3 and the Surface Pro 3. So today we're going to help you pick the right Surface for you to determine which best fits your style and mood. So this is kind of a battle of it, but not really. So we take a look at both devices, the Surface 3 on the left and the Surface Pro 3 on the right. Both of them are running Windows 8.1, will be upgradable to Windows 10, but we have some differences and similarities. We do see the Windows logo, the new Microsoft logo actually at the bottom of the Surface 3, and then there is a Surface logo on the back of the Surface Pro 3. Now both of them have that magnesium build altogether with 8 megapixel shooters at the back of both devices, and you do have the power button on the very top of both the devices also. Now you can see clearly the volume rocker is on the Surface 3 compared to the Surface Pro 3. Now on the right hand side, this is where most of the ports are for both devices. Now let's take a look first at the Surface 3, which has a display port. So there's the Surface Pro 3, USB 3.0, USB 3.0. We do have micro USB for charging in the Surface 3, and we have a proprietary port for the Surface Pro 3. Micro SD ports for both devices, a headphone jack on the left hand side, on the right hand side of the Surface 3. While on the Surface Pro 3, you do have the volume rocker and a headphone jack on the left hand side. You can also see the vents for cooling of the Surface Pro 3, but still the general design is the same and similar for both devices. You can also see that they both have kickstands, which is very, something that's really important with the Surface line of devices, and they both have the new type cover keyboard, which actually hinges closer to the screen, as you can see there with the Surface 3 and now with the Surface Pro 3, making it something that allows for better typing and also just better functionality altogether. And now combining that with the kickstand and how that actually functions. Now the Surface 3 has 3 levels for its kickstand compared to the Surface Pro 3, which has a varying kickstand level. So let's take a look first at what the Surface 3 actually does for its kickstand. That's the first level. Moving to the second level, and here's the third level, which allows you to write much more fluidly, and you have 3 levels for that kickstand, which still works well for typing, writing, and things like that. Now moving to the Surface Pro 3, we have what we call a varying level of the kickstand, so we can keep extending, and you can lay it flat, almost flat, so that you can actually use your pen to write. It also has pretty good give there, so it doesn't actually break, and you can bring that level all the way up, even higher than what you would get with the Surface 3. So that's something to take note, and I think they've done a good job with the Surface 3. So Surface 3 Pro 3. So the Pro 3 might be a better tool for you writing or penning. Now they both have some really nice displays here. You have a 10.8-inch display for the Surface 3, and you have a 12-inch display for the Surface Pro 3. The Pro 3 is a 2K display, while of course this Surface 3 is a 1080p, slightly higher than 1080p, but is a 1920 by 1200 display. Both have 3:2 aspect ratios with the Windows buttons on the sides for each device there. So you can see that just navigating and using both devices is very fluid and fast. Why? Well, they both have Intel processors, and this is where you start seeing some differentiation with these devices. Now with what we have here, the Surface 3 is running a new Intel Atom processor, which is the X7 processor, while the Surface Pro 3 is running an Intel Core processor. We have a Core i5 processor, and that's where I think you really need to start if you're going to use the Surface Pro 3 line. RAM also varies here. You have a maximum of 4 gigs on the Surface 3, and you have a maximum of 8 gigabytes on the Surface Pro 3, which is what we actually run here. So in terms of specs, you do have varying better specs on the Surface Pro 3. And what does that help you do with all those different types of specs? So first things first, people want to ask about gaming. Well, they both can game on a light level for x86 games, with the Surface Pro 3 doing better because of that Core i5 processor and better graphics chip. But the main important thing that they actually differs with this device is handling video. 4K video handles better and more fluidly on the Surface Pro 3, which I use actually to edit 4K video. I can edit 4K video. I can also render videos on that. On the Surface 3, it will not be favorable to actually render videos on that device. So that's something to also take note. Now, when it comes to the cameras for both devices, now you do see some differentiation. The Surface 3 has an 8 megapixel rear camera, and the Surface Pro 3 has a 5 megapixel rear camera. Now, the front-facing camera to me is actually better on the Surface Pro 3 than the Surface 3. Slight differentiation, even though they're both 5 megapixel cameras. Now, when we're talking about the rear cameras for both devices, 5 megapixel shooter behind the Surface Pro 3 doesn't compare to, of course, the 8 megapixel shooter you have at the back of the Surface 3. But then again, they're tablets. I don't foresee people using the rear camera that much. The front-facing camera, I think, is more important, especially for video chat, Skyping, and things like that. Now, the other thing to mention and note is that both devices have the ability to use a pen. Now, the pen comes included with the Surface Pro 3. On the Surface 3, you actually have to buy that as extra accessory, but it still functions very well and just the same on both devices. Using the backlit keyboard for both devices is similar but a difference. The Surface 3 has a smaller keyboard because, of course, it's a 10.8-inch device. So for someone like me with larger hands, it will feel a little tighter, maybe a little more cramped, but it's still very usable. All the buttons are very accessible, and you can navigate across the keyboard with ease. Now, looking at what we have with the Surface Pro 3, we have a larger space. You can see I have more space or wiggle room around, and I can type as freely as I choose to. Now, this is just more my preference, but again, the keyboard is backlit, works well, and they're very similar. Although I will say my keyboard feels a little looser after using it for a year, so the keys feel a little bit shallow. That might just be wear and tear on the device. So when you're looking at both devices, you're wondering, okay, how do they actually differ, and how do I make my choice here? Well, there's some things that I can add that will help you with that choice preference. So for instance, starting with the Surface 3, it does have a slower charge time. It takes about 4 to 5 hours. I'll say about 4 hours more or less to charge fully, while the Surface Pro 3 takes a short amount of time, about 2.5 or so, to fully charge because of the proprietary charger and not micro USB like the Surface 3. The Surface Pro 3 uses an SSD, or at least an MSAT, while the Surface 3 uses eMMC. You also have a better GPU in the Surface Pro 3. You have that Infinity kickstand there, which is also very true. And you do have also what you do have here is that the Surface Pro 3 also comes with a difference in range in processors. You could go from i3 all the way to an i7, so faster processors, but the prices differ. The Surface 3 starts at $499 and the Surface Pro 3 starts at $799. So this is where it becomes an issue of which is best for me. And the best way to actually equate it is what kind of work you'll be doing the Surface line. If you really like the Surface line and you say, look, I still have to do some video editing, I still have to, watch high definition content, 4K, things like that, or use things like Adobe Lightroom or Premiere, Adobe products like that, then the Surface Pro 3 is a device for you. I use the i5 Surface Pro 3 to edit videos, and it works very well. I take it to me on when I travel to events and things like that. So that's the device I use for that. If I just wanted to say look at Word documents, browsing, just your daily computing functions, watch video, play some light games, then the Surface 3 might be the device for you. That Intel Atom processor does handle very well. It will give you 10-hour battery life. The Surface Pro 3 will give you close to 9, depending of course what kind of work you're doing with it. But overall, I think a lot of people will like what you have in both devices. So yes, they do have some similarities, but also have some very stark differences. And yes, they do function on 2 different levels. Surface 3 is more, I'll call it your college, small business, on-the-go, quick type tablet, while the Surface Pro 3 is more of a workhorse that can do you some high-level performance, work like your high-end Ultrabook, and still give you the flexibility that you need. So hopefully, guys, that helped you answer the question of which to pick. If you're looking to pick one of the two, here you go, the Surface 3 or the Surface Pro 3. Let us know your thoughts. This is really not a battle, but just more or less showing you how to decide on what to pick on. So if you have any questions or any comments, again, let us know. Otherwise, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and favorite this video. Do subscribe to the channel, and always enjoy your entertainment.